If I would only pick one interface for remote recordings, for productions on the go, the Antelope Zen Tour would pretty much be on the top of the list. The main reason why we purchased this interface for the studio is, first of all, to be able to have high quality conversion on the go whenever we're doing remote recording. We have one coming up soon, for instance, when we're gonna be recording a duo, world-renowned musicians. I'm also producing lots of events where we're doing live streams, and I want to be able to record everything in multi-track without having the need of carrying out huge flight cases. So basically what this unit allows me to do is, whenever I'm recording outside of the studio, I can easily pack it in my backpack, and I have no doubt that what's going to be recorded on it is going to be pretty much the same quality as I have in the studio. The other thing that makes it pretty unique in our applications at RedStone Productions is the fact that whenever I have musicians, they are still in the process of producing and finishing off the arrangement of a track, instead of giving them access to the big control room with the patch bay, which might sound a little bit complicated to them, I can just basically give them the Antelope interface, and they will be pretty much comfortable in operating this device without having to figure out all sort of patch bays and signal flow that I have going on in the big setup in the studio. The DSP built into the interface allows you to work and create really incredible sounds without the need of relying on a super powerful computer or a big studio setup, because the DSP that's built into the interface will allow you to load up a lot of creative plugins. The Antelope Zen Tour is such a small, compact interface that if you look at it at first, you might be thinking, well, it's just the usual USB interface with 4 mic pre's and that's about it. On top of it, it also has the scalability with the ADAT input and ADAT output ports that allow you to basically build a pretty big setup on such a small interface. You have their own mixer that allows you to basically route any input to any output and create almost infinite amount of copies of it that you can send, process, manipulate it, and record. You can also engage microphone emulations, EQ, compression by their DSP provided, and that basically gives you the best of both worlds. So you can have a clean recording, but on top of it, on your DAW, have another track of the same microphone where all of the processing has been applied via their DSP. The other thing that I really enjoy is the fact that I can route the input into a bunch of outputs. So for instance, I have a guitar player just tracking into the high Z input, and I can reamp it into 2 different guitar amps if I want. Or I can use the reamp outs, for instance, for coloring or creating creative effects when it comes down to time-based effects. To me, what's really cool is, in such a small footprint, you can pretty much have all of the options that you would find in a bigger setup. In order to create what I call signature sounds, I might go with the usual suspects, meaning compression, EQ, reverb, delay, panning. But if I want to create something unique, I also want to create some pretty unique layers that I will be using in Mixdown. In that occasion, for instance, I love to be able to use the reamp outs, for instance, on a vocal track, and fit it into a bunch of valve guitar amplifiers to create that nice crunchy saturation, and or any of our guitar pedals that we normally use for guitar productions, but they are so unique and we have so many of them that very often once we chain them together, we end up with sounds that we would never end up with if not via the reamp out. In one sentence, what makes Antelope converters so special and unique is the fact that whatever you feed them with, it's exactly what you're gonna get out of it. Their converters are imparting no coloration to your sound unless you want it to do it. I'm always confident that whatever I'm tracking through the Antelope interfaces is exactly what I intend to have.